know.
All right.
And if you've been with us this
broadcasting
long,
live on Radio 550 ppm.
I've done a lot of radio in my day.
I think I've done a lot of podcasting.
I worked at
In the last
KLSC
decade.
Sterling, Kansas. I worked at WFEB Sylacauga, Alabama. And then I was program director for a couple of years at Free Radio Asheville, which was a pirate station.
I'd love to be on a pirate station.
I know, it just sounds so cool, doesn't
It
it?
does.
You just want to be a pirate.
I want to be a
Yeah, pretty
pirate,
much.
lad.
Yeah, we didn't sit around going R all
Did
the
you-
time.
did
We
you
just
say
did
R?
Radio.
It's not working. You guys can't hear me either,
we
can
hear
you?
No,
We
we
can
can
hear
hear you.
ya.
We can hear you.
Normally I'd be talking smack and saying we can't, but we
Failed
can
to
hear
start.
Well, you know, if we couldn't,
don't know
if we
why.
couldn't hear you, then your webcam would have your microphone, and we wouldn't want that.
Oh boy.
you. Did you try disconnecting your camera and
Can't
reconnecting
seem
it?
to get my camera working, and I can't hear you either.
Oh, you can't hear us.
Oh, you
but
can't
we can
hear
hear
us.
you.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
But if you can't
Very
hear us, how's it going to know
exciting.
that?
Oh, that's...
He can read lips, I'm sure.
We do have chat in here, although nobody ever uses it.
That's very true.
I use it to start up Craig, but that's it.
Oh, we've used it a couple times. You can see in the history of it.
Welcome to mintCast.
The podcast of the Linux Mint community. For
For most users of Linux.
For other users of Linux, because we Mint people don't listen to anything.
And that's what we need to change.
Hey,
Our ability to listen?
when I was following the stats at archive.org, our stats varied so wildly from one episode to another. We could have 1,200 people one show and have 12,000 people another show, but usually it was around 3,500 to 4,000.
Yeah, I remember
Some
our
of those
average
estimates.
being around 4,000. But then I also remember, checking week to week and the number both going up and down on archive.org, which not very useful. How do you get negative listeners?
I mean, that is a bit weird, actually.
Let's see.
Any of you?
You're
nor
back, Jim.
if they can hear me
We
either.
can hear you, Jim.
We can hear you.
But if he can't hear us, how are we going to know? How's he going to know?
And I'm trying to figure out how to change the settings.
There is...
I hit.
With drugs.
Yeah, that
Better
tends
living
to-
through chemistry.
That tends to move things around a little bit.
Speaking of drugs, Joe, have you tried Kratom?
I'm in Texas.
They don't sell it there?
Not anymore.
Oh.
Charles,
Hear
we
me?
need a
Yes, we
clever
can hear
little...
you.
Yes, we can hear you. But yeah, the stuff doesn't really kill pain, but it inhabits your opioid receptors and tells you you've got painkiller.
Charles, we need a quick little clever
Similar to
Opening line.
CBD.
up top.
Oh boy. All right, let me see.
Up in the document?
Settings.
Yeah.
We can still hear you. Can you hear us, Jim? Jim can't hear us.
I thought he said he could for a second there.
Oh. I didn't hear that. I guess I was
Oh no,
talking.
he typed something. Let me see.
I
Where
see
is
you
the
can hear me trying to
chat?
get the camera recognized.
Yeah, okay, so he can see that we
I
hear.
can't hear any of you, and I don't. Oh, you know what? Let me figure.
That shouldn't
Let me
be
go with the
Discord
sound. Let
setting,
me
most
see.
likely. That should be
Yeah, it should be your audio settings.
yeah.
PavView Control is your
Okay.
friend. I can't stress this
Output.
point enough.
There you go. He's about to get it. Can you hear us yet?
Hola, amigo. ¿Cómo está? Muy bien, ¿y tú?
Que bueno.
You should meet my sister. You would like her very much.
Not as much as you like her, my friend, I am thinking.
Well, you have to know about my sister. My sister, she needs money.
Well,
this
I have
conversation
money.
keeps getting worse
Do you have
and
Do
worse.
you have $20? She would like you very much.
$20
Uh,
used to be just carton of cigarettes, but carton
Are
of
we
cigarettes.
streaming this?
Yeah,
Nothing.
Well, considering the value of a carton of cigarettes
Yeah,
that's
these
a
days,
that's a Hondo right there,
QTU
buddy.
handheld mic.
what?
And video.
And I
Input, output.
In and out. In and out. Puppy!
But I've been hearing
There.
that MAGA have been going off on one about Superman, the new Superman film. Is that true?
yeah.
Yes and
Superman's been
no.
woke from day one. He was written by a couple of Jews to begin with.
Before it came out, people were very much trying to make some kind of movement about it because he's an
Not
immigrant
seen
and somebody said that he's an immigrant.
Speakers,
And he's here illegally.
But
input Q2U
you have to
handheld
see
mic.
how
figure
much
that out,
money
Charles?
that movie has made.
Text video. Camera
We haven't gotten to see
default.
it
It's
yet.
not
Maybe we
working.
should.
With that
The
James
DC
Gunn.
movies
I
have
don't
been
know
pretty
why it
dead.
worked last time.
Well, evidently this one's supposed to change the whole tempo
Well, that's
of the
because James
DC.
Gunn's in charge now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is a good
Okay.
film. I did
I mean,
enjoy
look what he
it.
did
Your
with
mic is
Guardians
fine,
of the
Jim, but your
Galaxy.
ear's
Big
working.
poems out of
All
a
right.
comic nobody ever read.
Nobody reads comics
Not
now, isn't
nobody.
it? Apart from Joe.
Okay, good. You can hear me. Let me
Yes,
go
we
into
can hear you.
sound.
I tend to prefer the
Should-
classics, though.
Should work.
Can you hear me, or do I need to turn it up?
Output. I keep changing it to built-in audio.
That's a dignified silence, by the way.
Log
I enjoy like
Yes,
Spider-Man
sound.
2099. I'll go
Hearing.
back and reread that.
Yeah, well,
I'm gonna reboot it.
The
Hey,
problem
Charles,
I
do you
had
see
with
where I'm talking
Spider-Man
about?
Growing up is the
Up top there.
the plot's just
The
kept
opening line.
stretching and stretching and stretching.
Well, Spider-Man 2099 was written.
Charles, can you
in
hear me?
Like the time frame is 2099,
Yes,
and so it's Miguel O'Hara, the first Hispanic, Spider-Man. And he has his storyline, and yes, there are other
I am your
storylines in
friendly
2099
neighborhood
that cross over,
Spider-Man.
but it's a very narrow universe. Yes, there was a Ghost Rider 2099. There was a Hulk 2099, Punisher 2099. But they were some out there stories.
I leave with Tia May. My uncle, he died.
All right, are we going to have to call it on Jim, or because
I
if he's
think
still
Jim
trying
called it
and
on
can't
him.
hear it?
Well,
Huh?
he's out. He's off now. I don't know what he's doing, but
I think he said
Yeah,
he's going to do a reboot. I heard him say that. He still couldn't hear us, but I heard him say, I'm going to do a reboot.
All right, let's give him a couple minutes then.
Yeah, sure.
So, Bill, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good.
I've just written
so then
something
we-
for you, Charles, in the show notes. Hope it's all right. You know, at the beginning.
I'm sorry, say it again.
So at the beginning, you know, where we all put a little
He did
kind of
it.
pithy comment.
He did it.
I've just written something for you. Is that all right, or do you want to write something yourself?
Oh, I
No,
thought he
that's
wrote
fine.
that.
Charles,
perfect.
How about
Charles, do you prefer Charles or Chuck?
Anything but Chuck. You can call me
Anything but
Chaz.
Chuck.
You can call me Chaz, Charlie, Charles. Yeah, not a
Not
big Chuck. No, not
Okay.
Chuck.
Big C.
That works too. One of my high school wrestling coaches' mother used to call me Chaz, so I can even deal with that.
That was an 80s thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was
every-
Well,
thanks to the movie Airheads.
actually, it was a little bit before the '80s. So
How
but I
much
do remember
before
that,
the
where
80s?
everybody's nickname was something with a Z at the end of it. You know.
But it was cool. Back when we had the sunglasses with the lines and all
Are
that.
they going to put a Z at the end of my name?
All I know is that the company I
Jim's
work
name?
for as a sub teacher is Staff EZ, and I would hate to have some Canadian pronounce that.
FEZ.
But it loses the
correct
fact
way.
that it's easy.
Yeah, but it's a Z.
Well, now I can hear you.
Well,
Well, we
good.
can hear
So we
you
can hear
too.
you. How about your camera?
That's a
Give the
start.
camera a shot
Yeah, let's try that now.
and watch it break everything like it does on my computer.
I don't know.
And now we're getting a little bit of echo from your stuff.
Yep.
Failed to start camera. Having issue with video calls?
I'm
I
not
just
getting
tried to
any echo
help.
from him.
Yeah. I'm not seeing Bison Cam. That's the problem. I'm trying to change the setting to, let's see, go back to video. It says
Well, as long
camera.
as you don't
Laptop
change your
camera?
microphone to your webcam, you're fine.
I mean, I can see my, like if I turn on Cheese or Webcamoid app, I can see my camera. No problem. Comes up. But here in Discord, when I go into the settings and try to turn the camera on, voice and video settings, there should be camera, the drop box, instead of saying default, it needs to say Bison Cam.
Let's just leave it as a failed to start camera error 2015. That'll be your picture.
If you look
Oh,
on your
that's so
screen,
ugly, though.
if you look on your
God, I feel
screen where you see all of us, there'll be a little camera symbol next to the microphone symbol. There's a little drop down arrow next to that where you can choose your camera. And it'll show you which one's chosen, and then it'll give you like a little arrow pointing to the right, and then if you've got multiple cameras,
And I just messed mine up.
you can choose from there.
Okay. Where it says failed to start camera on my box, there's three. Oh, no, not there.
Down at the bottom. Yep.
More
I'm
options.
sharing my
There's a
screen.
mic-
Can you see
left.
it?
Here, let me
There's
show
a
you what I'm
microphone
doing.
and then there's a camera.
Let me show
Uh-huh.
you what I'm talking about.
I see the camera. Okay. Video settings.
There's a
Oh,
drop
no.
down and then there's the word camera.
Uh-huh.
And then you highlight that. If you have multiple cameras, it'll let you pick one.
I just shared my
okay,
screen.
I'm there. I see it. It just says default, though. It needs to say Bison Cam. That's what it
Yeah.
said last time.
Do you see? Okay, look at my screen here. I'm sharing my screen.
He's missing something. There's a problem on his computer.
Can you just to make sure that we're
Yeah.
looking at the same thing here? Look at the screen I'm sharing. Click on it to zoom in on it. And
Watch stream.
Are you sharing?
Yeah.
Yes, he's sharing.
Now right down here,
He's oversharing, actually.
right down
Right.
here, you got the camera, and then there's this
Right.
little drop down. Okay, right now it's
Mhm.
showing my OBS virtual camera, and then it's got my three different choices here. You want to make sure you've got
see
that
that.
one.
I do. Yeah. When I do that, unfortunately, it just says camera default, and that's it. That's why it's not starting. There should be this built-in webcam should say Bison Cam, and that's what I clicked on last time, and that's what works. I don't know why it works in Cheese or Webcamoid. There are two different apps.
That might be
I don't
on
know
your
why the
system
app-
settings.
Yeah.
It's with this Discord. He needs to nuke his Discord and reinstall.
Yeah, I'm on the web app on Discord.
Oh,
That
Yeah.
I think that might be it.
Yeah, that's it.
Because you don't. If you're on the web app in Discord, you need to basically allow your browser to see your webcam.
Especially if you're in
Mhm.
Firefox, it likes to be difficult about it. There's a
Okay,
thing
we
in
go
the
with the-
top. There's a thing in the top left corner. Yes, I'm echoing.
yeah.
somewhere.
Somebody's got their PC speakers running instead
probably
of
me.
headphones. Okay.
In the top left of your web browser, there should be some settings. I'm not running Firefox right this second, so I can't tell you exactly.
It's like in the top left. It's in the Omni bar. The where you type the URL in. There'll be a little button there for permissions. That's if you're using
What's an
Firefox.
omnibar?
Well, they
Address
call it
bar.
they call it an Omni bar now because it's where
You
you
can do
type
everything
your
with it.
search and your Actually, it might be a Chrome thing, but still, same thing. That might be what Chrome calls it.
Which
So,
browser
yeah,
are you using, by the way? You're in Firefox.
I'm in a Firefox. Yes.
Okay, so
So I
it's
have to
going
find
to
it.
be, you have to find where the setting is, and I think it's that setting which is, allow your, allow this browser to see your video.
Right.
I know where it is on Chromium-based browsers. I'm not entirely sure where it is in Firefox. I'm assuming it's in that address bar, like.
You know what they say about assuming.
Yeah, fair point. So I'm not
In the
entirely sure
address
where.
bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought I remembered how I did it last time. Maybe it just I got lucky and it showed up. I didn't have to go dig for it.
Okay, I'm going to share my...
I'm
I'm going to share my screen again.
Yeah, and then where you've got camera, there's a settings thing there, and then you should be able to.
Okay, there I am. I got a camera. Okay, let's see. The following websites have requested access to your camera. Which websites are allowed? Discord. It says allow.
Or does it say
If it
always
says
ask?
allow, then you haven't allowed yet.
Yeah, you have to
No,
press
it's-
allow first.
Yeah, it's a drop down. It's already there as allow.
Okay.
Okay.
Then I'm
Let me
not
hit
sure. Then.
save changes. Missions, camera settings, Discord, allow. Save changes. Let me go back to you guys here and see.
It's like the guy that swallowed a $20 bill. No change yet.
That is one of the worst jokes I have ever heard. I'm going to use it.
I'm sure you will.
Right? This guy gets
Another
it.
option.
That's a
Continue
high
with that
quality
joke.
dad joke right there.
Yeah, buddy.
Full on,
Yeah,
man.
it-
Full on.
Another option would be to if I quickly download Discord.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
get,
Yeah,
the,
that'd
get
do
the
it.
flat pack.
Yeah. Are you on?
Get
Are you
the
on
flat
Mint
pack.
or?
Yes, Linux Mint 21.3.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm running
So
the tab.
get the flat pack. No, I'd get the flat pack.
The Deb's fine, but you got to go search for it and all that.
Yeah, that's true. And every time it's got to run out there and grab another one when there's an
Yeah.
update.
Okay, guys, I'll just go to sleep here. Run the show.
All right.
The show itself will be really short. It'll just be getting to it that takes forever.
And by really short, we're still going to be longer than most Linux podcasts.
Bill,
Yeah, that's fine.
when we lost you, did we lose the stream?
No, we didn't actually lose the stream. I just because I was trying to switch over to the browser so that I could
So
share.
Jim,
that and-
I've put the link for
Yeah.
where it is on
Okay.
FlatHub Discord.
Okay.
If that helps.
Okay.
You're going to want to
All right, let me
you're going to
try.
want to close that tab on the browser when you install this and get it up and running.
Right. Understood.
When you finally get it up. Oh,
Yep.
wait. Wrong conversation.
Are we going back to the ED, Joe?
But if you're having trouble with that, I got a bottle of blue pills upstairs at my
They
house.
make pills for that.
They sure do, buddy.
It's all your TRT, man.
I'm not on that
I'm
much.
downloading the Deb
Hey,
file.
if
I probably need a
pregnancy-
bit more.
If pregnancy is an act of God, then so is ED. Leave it alone.
Yeah, but there's so much expectation these days.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that is a very telling comment, Bill. that I think a psychologist
wife-
would have a field day with.
No. His wife is considerably younger than him. You keep forgetting that.
Yeah.
How much younger?
11 years.
You fucking bastard.
Yeah, right?
How much? I didn't hear it.
Language.
Sorry.
I didn't hear,
Sorry.
Bill. How much?
11 years.
11.
Oh, I got you beat. Suzanne's 15 and a half years younger than me.
What is wrong with the world?
It's
How has this
America.
happened?
America.
America.
In my defense, I come from a very long-lived line of people. My great-grandpa made it to 102, and my grandma made it to 101. My mom made it to 94 before she caught COVID in the rehab facility. So if I married a woman my age, she'd be dead a long time before me.
That's a good way to look at it.
This is just absolutely crushing my self-esteem here. Do you know what I mean?
Why? Because your wife is your age? No, that just means that you settled in and
Hey, you're-
stayed that way.
Besides,
not
your
the
wife
easy-
is probably
it's-
hotter than mine anyhow.
It's not an easy thing to do. Trust me. We've been together 20 years now, so it's easier now.
Yeah.
But in the beginning,
How old are you?
me, 52. So
Yeah, my wife's been with me for almost 9 years now, and that's
That means your missus is 41.
correct. As of yesterday, she turned 41.
mine. Just turned 57. So it's
And-
not like I robbed the cradle. It's just a difference in age.
Now there is a huge generational gap, culturally speaking, between Gen X's and even elder millennials, what we consider her to be, and everything from the music to the movies.
They've redefined that thing so much. I mean, when I was a kid, we were not baby boomers. The half generation before us was baby boomers.
Okay,
and now all of
boomer.
a sudden it's all of us.
Somebody come
Yeah,
get
they
your
keep
dad.
changing their mind.
Well, it's because some people kind of bounce
Yeah,
back
boomers
and forth.
used to be born before 50. I was born in 52, but now they're saying almost to 70.
I have
Joe,
children.
are we millennials if we're
No,
1980?
we're Zennials.
Oh yeah, Zenelli, yeah. In between the Gen X and the millennial thing.
Yeah,
You're
because
elder
when we were
millennials.
kids, there's
I'm just too effing old.
the internet wasn't really a thing. It's like, and when I was a little kid, I sure as heck didn't have a home computer, but we went outside
We got the-
still.
Yeah, we got the internet. How old was I? 17?
Guys,
18?
Yeah.
I was a senior in high school before we even had a $250 TI pocket calculator.
Yeah, but we're talking about our gap with the millennial gap.
Yeah,
Because
Yeah, that generation is a strange one to nail down
But,
because there
uh,
is a huge difference between the
I
oldest.
think I was 26 before the TI-99 came out.
But the first thing that I learned to type on was also
Bam.
Yay!
Pictures!
Sorry for that, fellas. I feel
They got
very
pictures.
unprofessional.
ugh,
You fit right in then.
yeah,
I downloaded the. Hopefully, you're not getting feedback from my speakers. Let me know if you do. But
I haven't heard it
we got
yet.
video. I had to download the deb file. See, I have to upgrade the Mint 22.1 still. I'm on 21.3, and my hard drive is almost empty. I've been putting it off for months and months and months. So I didn't have any room for the flat pack. So I'm glad this worked. I even seem to be in 16:9, which I am
Might
pleased.
be time for a fresh install, Jim.
Yes, I bought a new hard drive, a cheap, SSD, a whopping 240 gigs to replace my ancient 13-year-old, 120 gig SSD. So I'm going to have to do a fresh install of 22.1.
Welcome to the show, Jim.
I was going to say you've done quite well to have let 120 gigs last this long. My phone has got half a terabyte, and I'm nearly finished that. I've only had it for 6 months.
Yeah,
Sorry.
a
I'm not
13-year-old
surprised.
laptop, and I love it. It's been working great. It's working great with Mint ever since I switched in 2023, and I'm glad we can at least get through the show today. And I do have to upgrade though.
Yeah. Finish that. So today's is going to be
I've only had it for 6
Innards
months.
show, as you probably know, because we did news last time, but we'll do a bit on Mint monthly news just because we're mintCast and we should really. And then the Innards topic is going to be about command line stuff, of which
Command
I know
line
absolutely
love.
nothing. Command line love, as they used to call it on Linux format.
That would be the
I know
Ubuntu
absolutely
podcast.
nothing about this, so I'm going to be asking the most stupidest questions, so bear with me.
But those are important questions.
Yeah. Okay. So
Now remember, Majid,
who is
in
hosting
sudo, you
it?
hold your hand flat and tuck your thumb.
Okay. All right.
I'm
So,
lost too.
Yeah, I know. I mean, talk about dad jokes, man. These are granddad jokes. These are.
Well, I can't help but.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna do a 3, 2, 1, and then we're
Yep.
gonna open mic.
Start, Craig. Do you want to start, Craig?
Start Craig. Yeah.
Yeah, you haven't started, Craig.
Good thing
so what
you're
would be
here,
the point?
Majid. Because I'm just freaking worthless. Join.
Three, two, one.
Now recording.
Okay. 3. Hang on. 3, 2, 1. Record. All right.
Am I supposed to be recording, Bill? Or are we just doing that for you?
No, we're just doing it for him and
just
the audio
me.
afterwards.
And most of that is so that I can find the beginning of the show easier among,
Okay.
among the endless chatter at the beginning.
Okay. So shall I start off? Just because I'm not going to be saying a huge amount during the innards bit.
I went through it and I trimmed off all the stuff that's got nothing on the show notes. So I've always thought that was, if there's not going to be anything in that section, it shouldn't be in the notes. It just makes it look unprofessional.
Okay, then. So we're what? 464, are we? Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome to mintCast, the podcast by the Linux Mint community for all users of Linux. This is episode 464, recorded on Sunday, July 20th, 2025.
Another year older. I'm Joe.
Not sure what I'm doing here. I'm Moss.
Tired but willing. I'm Bill.
I'm Majid, and I run Arch, by the way.
Back again, I'm Charles.
And I'm new to the show, and I'm Jim.
Welcome, Jim.
Welcome to the Madhouse.
Here we are.
So, in today's show, first up in the news, Mint Monthly News, July 2025. And then we're going to go into our innards section, in which we're going to talk about something called Bash, which I thought was what Superman and Batman did in the comics, but hey-ho. And finally, the feedback and a couple of suggestions. And please remember, if you want to follow along with our discussions, the full show notes for this episode are linked in the show's description at mintcast.org/show-notes. So, the news. Mint Monthly News, July 2025. So, Linux Mint 22.2. The team is working on a beta release for Mint 22.2. This version introduces HWE kernel, fingerprint authentication, theme updates, accent color support, and improved libadwaita compatibility. Work also continues in the Cinnamon edition to make input methods and keyboard layouts compatible with Wayland. Packages and projects are being finalized. Pull requests are being merged. There's no set date, but they're hoping that the beta will be out by the end of July or the beginning of August. LMD 7. After Linux Mint 22.2 gets its stable release, the focus is going to switch in September to LMD 7, codenamed Gigi. I'm assuming it's Gigi and not Gigi. Gigi will come with all the improvements featured in Mint 22.2, but on top of a Debian 13 package base instead of Ubuntu 24.4. Another key improvement in LMD E7 compared to LMD E6 is that it will support OEM installations. Oh, I didn't know LMD
And
didn't do that.
on top of that, Debian has announced that Trixie will be released in August. Did they say the 5th or the 9th? Something like that. Single digit date in August.
Okay. All right. There's also a note in the Mint Monthly News about moderation. I'm assuming this is what Clem has written. We unfortunately had to tighten moderation settings on this blog, and it's a real shame. When we say everyone is welcome here, it means absolutely everyone, no exceptions. This can only work if divisive topics are left behind and people refrain from labeling or excluding each other. Here, we're all the same. Everybody's welcome to participate. There's no such thing as freedom of speech. We're not here to fight for such or such ideas. We're here to build something together and to protect our project and our community. We want comments to be on topic, constructive as always. We will not tolerate any kind of ideology. We're already bombarded by commercial spam. This is one of the last places in our community where you can interact without having to authenticate. I'm really hoping it can stay that way. I'm assuming something has happened. I don't know if anybody's seen what's happened, but I'm assuming something's happened for them to write that.
Well, we've had our own problems at mintCast with the people screaming about our politics, but then we kind of are liberal politicians here.
I think in Mint's case, they're probably dealing, since they're running forums and things like that, they're probably getting an awful lot of spam, reoccurring spam
lot.
everywhere. Yeah,
A lot of companies with forums are
Right.
complaining about AI
and
posts and crazy crap.
I mean, I know that AI is scraping a lot of these forums, I've heard, to train the AI. Basically, in
AI is
another
posting too.
Yeah, well, in a past life, that would be called, copyright infringement, but apparently that's fine, according to Meta. But anyway, I'm quite excited for Mint 22.2. I didn't think I would be because it's just a point release, but actually, looks all right.
Well,
I'm not entirely sure what a HWE kernel is, though. Can someone explain
hardware
that to me?
enablement.
Hardware enablement.
Okay, fine. Okay, so I do know what that is then. All right, that's fine. And
Usually the HWE kernel is somewhere between the official kernel and, say, the kernel that System 76 uses, which is usually the latest kernel.
Well, I mean, if you have a release of Mint that comes out after the point release of the LTS for Ubuntu, that release tends to come with the hardware enablement, and then subsequent releases after that might have it as well, and so it'll show up.
Bodhi has been releasing both a standard and an HWE and a S76.
So I remember maybe a couple of months ago, 6 months ago or something, about how the Mint team said that they were no longer going to do edge ISOs, which was their way of getting, the latest kernel on a previous version. And they were going to change that, and they were going to update the kernel with each point release. I'm assuming that's got something to do with this?
Well, that's a good question. I might want to get Clem on the line.
Okay, fine. All right, fine.
I think just simply they're going to be going with whatever the latest. Ubuntu's going with whatever the latest kernel they have available to them at the release time. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we're just following suit when we come out with our new releases.
As you can probably tell, I'm just waiting with bated breath for Trixie to come out, because then we can get done with Bodhi 8.
Hey, there you go.
So is that going to mean that when they do LMD 7, it would be on the stable release rather than the...
They are going to release it on Trixie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's always based on the stable. What Debian calls stable, which is like super stable.
Mm-hmm.
It's well tested. You couldn't, when it comes to Debian, you couldn't ask for a more rock solid, stable base to base any kind of distribution on, honestly. So,
does anybody daily drive LMD? I've thought about it.
I did it when we were in a peculiar place where I needed some new software, and it just happened to be the LMDE was running some newer stuff than the latest Ubuntu-based release at the time.
Okay, that's a bit weird, but okay. You would have thought it the other way around.
Until the last version of LMDE, Debian was not open and welcoming enough for me. But the last one was better, and it looked like they still had a few edges to sand off. So I'm waiting for LMDE 7, and like I said, I ran Debody 7 for a while, which never went past beta 3. And it was real good, but there were a couple little problems with that, so I went back to regular Bodhi. But I assume when Trixie comes out, I'll be running something running Debian.
You run into, well, they're not problems, but you have to kind of know, like for example, if you're using the Ubuntu based release and you've got some esoteric hardware inside of your machine, then you've got that hardware tool that will go out and get the right drivers and enable the kernel modules and that and all that you need. With a Debian based release, you've got to know what to go get yourself.
Oh, okay, fine. So there's a lot more.
It's a little less, easy to get up and running.
Do you reckon if it was given to a noob like me, they would even notice it being different to?
It depends on the
standard
machine.
release?
If you've got an all Intel machine where everything is just going to work with what's in the kernel already, and you don't need anything outside of that, then you'll be fine. But if you've got some Broadcom stuff in there or some something weird like that,
Yeah,
then
the more proprietary drivers you need,
Yeah.
the less Debian works well.
right.
Okay.
But they're getting better.
They will, and in fact, it might get to the point where we're not even talking about this anymore because Debian started. I don't know how. I haven't seen it yet, but apparently the non-free drivers are part of the default.
Yeah, I was going to ask
ISO.
that question. Yeah, I was
So-
going to ask that question.
And I don't know if that's going to change the way we do things over on LMDE or not. That'd be another good question for Clem, I think. But
Yeah, at Bodhi, we still haven't decided whether we're just going to do Debian. It depends on how good Trixie is. But we might just drop Ubuntu altogether.
there's no reason why you couldn't do that. I mean, if you've got the tooling on top of it to make all those little paper cut things a little bit easier for everybody, then I don't see why you wouldn't be able to get by with that. But I don't know.
So what specific tools would the Mint team need to put into LMD 7 to make it not just Debian with a Cinnamon desktop?
Well, you've got that driver manager thing for starters that the Ubuntu based version has, and I don't need it for anything on my machine. But if, like I said, if you've got Broadcom and stuff like that, you'll notice that you've got no Wi-Fi when you start up the machine for the first time. Maybe. And then you run that driver manager thing, and there it is, and it's easy. You click on it, and then you might click which version you want, and then it goes and it knows what to go and get and install it. You don't have that sort of graphical, here's what you got that you need a driver for kind of tool for the Debian release. Other than that, I mean, the tooling for the updating and everything, the software center, all that's still the same. You still got Flatpaks enabled. You could be forgiven for not knowing the difference, honestly.
Yeah.
Come on, new guys, say something. We're monopolizing this podcast.
Yeah, please feel free to bump in.
I'm quite happy with the Ubuntu version of Mint. I haven't tried the Debian version. Not sure why I would feel compelled to do that. I understand they have a reason why. It's a good fallback position if they don't like what Canonical's doing with Ubuntu. But yeah, I think it's been proven that the Ubuntu version's friendlier for noobs and for people with different types of hardware, different video cards. So,
Well, that
So far,
was
so good.
true up until Bullseye. But later versions of Debian have been almost as welcoming. As
I mean, the
Ubuntu.
one thing that I
With
found.
the difference being you don't have to keep shutting off all the stuff Ubuntu is doing to make money, like snaps.
I mean, I
that's
think.
not an issue in Mint.
Yeah, it's not an issue in Mint anyway, is it? No, I mean,
It is an issue for
I've-
the Mint team because they had to take that stuff out and make it into what they want
fair
Mint to be.
Fair point. No, what I was just going to say is that I've been hearing this refrain about how LMDE is the fallback if Ubuntu was to go away, or Ubuntu was to do something that they radically disagreed with and whatever. the thing is that Ubuntu has made some decisions that they've disagreed with, and they've managed to, change, their release. For example, snaps are pulled out, Flatpaks are enabled. They're now, they themselves are maintaining, I think, is it Firefox and Thunderbird in their repos, so that there's still a deb package, because Ubuntu is no longer going to be doing that. So, and they were just doing the snap install. So they're already kind of fixing, in inverted commas, what they think that Ubuntu's done wrong. And at the same time, they've never put LMDE out as, look, this is the vision, if you know what I mean. It's always been the normal releases. So I'm a little bit, I understand the concept, but as I said, I've been hearing that for I've been hearing that for as long as I've ever been on Mint, as long as I've ever listened to mintCast, and I've listened to mintCast since 2013. I've heard the same thing again and again. Oh, the Debian edition's there just in case Ubuntu goes away, or if we want to do something we don't like. It's like, okay, but at what point are you going to make that call?
Well, at Bodhi, we got a different viewpoint, and Robert Wiley has said that it takes about the same amount of work to write Bodhi in Debian as in Ubuntu, but there's been more steps to Ubuntu every time it comes around. There's more things to take out of Ubuntu to make Bodhi work. Nothing with Debian. You just have to make sure you've got all your switches set right.
They must have worked out that it's worthwhile for one reason or another on the Mint side to offer both. I think the reasons to hold on to Ubuntu for the time being outweigh the reasons to drop Ubuntu, and I think they would probably, if they did pull that trigger and say, you know what, we're just tired of dealing with the commercialization, and then having to make our own. Of course, I would argue if they went to full-on Debian, they would still have to make their own Chromium and Firefox installation, just because of how far behind both of those are in the Debian archives.
Well, if more people just started using the Debian edition, then they'd probably quit making the Ubuntu edition.
Well, see, there it is. I think there's still enough people, it's arguably a larger number of people still using the Ubuntu version that they just haven't. But at the same time, it's also not been worthwhile to drop the Debian edition too. So I mean, we're unique that we have these two versions, really. I think, among the large, if not the largest, Ubuntu Debian derivatives that are out there, because nobody else is doing that to the extent that Mint does, that I'm aware of. Somebody write me and let me know how wrong I am. So
cool. You'll know that the Mint team has changed their mind when you go to the Mint website and see which one they're pushing. I'm sure they'll put a press release out someday if and when that happens.
They'll just change the name from Linux Mint Debian Edition to Linux Mint, and then the other version, the Ubuntu version, will be LMU.
LMUE. Yeah.
That's possible as well. Yeah.
But then tooling will have to be made to migrate all of the Ubuntu based installations over to a Debian base.
That's the big difference. Right now, Ubuntu has more apps already set up for it than Debian does. The repos are much larger at Ubuntu than at Debian.
Yeah, Debian will work on packages to get them fixed if they need to, that are not getting fixed quite as frequently on the Debian side. I don't think we have anything to worry about for the foreseeable future. It doesn't seem like there's any real talk about.
It was just a thought experiment.
And it's always interesting.
I was just kind of, playing the logic out. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Okay, then. I think we've talked enough about that. So we're now going to go on to the Linux innards. So today's Linux innards. You know what? I've been watching Severance, and it keeps talking about innies and outies. So maybe I've got a chip in my brain that will now activate because I've seen the word "init." I don't know. I suppose it would mean at least it'll show me that I've got something in there. At least if there's a chip there, at least. Okay, yeah. So we're going to be talking about. So in our Linux inners, we're going to be talking about a lot of what Linux format and Tux Radar used to call command line lerv back in the day.
I think you'll find that was Ubuntu podcast.
Was it Ubuntu podcast?
Yeah.
I thought it was. Okay. All right. Fine. Yeah.
They had a
They'd
whole
always
section.
spell love with a R in the middle.
Yeah. LURVE. Yeah.
Command
I know, it
line
doesn't matter.
love.
Verve.
Okay. Anyway, so we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of commands, all right, most of which I have no idea because I don't know anything when it comes to this. So I'm going to give it to the people that do, which is you fine folks and Joe.
Okay, so this is the basics of the basics. This is the simple stuff, but it does kind of build. And I probably could have gone on a lot longer on some of the commands and the things that you can do with the commands, but I'm not trying to make this last all day. So the first
Can
thing
I ask can I ask some noob questions just really early on?
Oh,
anybody can jump in at any time, add things.
Well, why would we
Okay.
want to start with? Why would
Yeah. So
somebody
first,
want
so the
to
first,
use-
So first thing, why do you need to know this stuff?
Well,
Linux
because
is good now. You
sometimes-
can do it. You can do everything on the GUI apparently.
apparently, but there's still sometimes where things just work better from command line 1, and then there are some times where your light DM breaks and you're forced to go to the command line in order to fix things because you don't just want to nuke and pave.
Yeah.
So
So second question is, when you put these commands in, you put them through a terminal emulator, the command line, right? Am I correct? So why is it called a terminal emulator rather than just
the
a terminal?
leftover from why is it called a terminal emulator instead of just a terminal? Because a terminal would imply that there's not a GUI on the back end.
Okay.
And a terminal is not something a human being can directly interact with.
basically, they're emulating the VT102 for the most part, which was just a terminal. It was a TV screen. You open up your computer, and there you got it.
Okay.
And whatever that could do, a terminal emulator can do.
So what language are these commands in?
Bash.
Okay. So
Well, wait a minute.
There are
I was going to say
several
there's
different
several. Yes. There
Yeah.
I know.
shells. There are several different shells. So
But
it's
then
all
the
shell.
program you're using, it depends on what
Well, he's
language.
asking what command line is in. It's in it. Most of them are bash, but it is shell. Now there's still corn shell or what C shell, K shell. There's fish.
Z
There's all
shell,
these different
fish, yeah.
ones. But
Yes,
for
Bash is the born again shell.
yes, and so this is all going to be in bash because it's what I know, because that's what everything comes with bash. And if you want something else, you either have to change it or it's a really old system that has
The other
corn
shells
shell.
don't emulate Bash; they just emulate the VT102, same as everything else. So,
Yeah.
Right.
if a
Slight
command runs in
variance.
Bash, it will probably run any other shell.
It
I would
probably
recommend
run
learning
shell.
Bash before going
Yeah.
on to anything else.
So the reason I asked that question specifically was I've recently distro hopped, and as I said, I'm running Arch, by the way, but it's not. It was CachyOS, and one of the things I noted when I was doing the install and the install was going through, it was saying about how it used FSH rather than Bash. You'd have to specifically enable it, and I kind of went with fish, and I was like, I have no idea what that means, but yes, okay, continue.
Don't worry about it.
But mostly, if you know one of them, you can do all of them. The changes are extremely small from one to the next. So
Most of the shells themselves are written in C or C++.
most operating systems are written in C or C++. There are exceptions.
We're starting to get some Rust variations out there.
Yeah.
In most cases, no matter what, if you were just going to execute a simple command like what we're going to talk about today, no matter what shells somebody handed you, and you probably wouldn't know by looking at it what it was running without, doing like an LS env and then grep it through to in a
Let's
shell.
get to those commands.
But anyway,
before
Yeah,
we-
let's get to the commands.
The
Let's get to the
explanation,
commands.
the explanation of those commands that you just gave before we start telling people that.
yeah.
But yeah, okay. So, like you said, LS. That's probably your first one that you're going to do. That's going to list all of the directories on your command line. So it'll show you all the files, and everything in Linux is a file.
And folder.
Even a folder is a file. Everything is a file. But so ls, it's a very simple command. It lists everything there. Now, there are exceptions. ls ltr tac ls space tac ltr will give you the long listing, and it will list the oldest first, which is handy for seeing which files in a large directory have recently been changed. So the ones at the bottom are the ones that you probably most recently changed, messed up, whatever, or if there was a log dump, it would be there. Now, there is another tac that you can put on there that I tend to use every now and again, and it's tac capital R, which will recursively go through, which is also helpful in other circumstances to remember that capital R does it recursively. And what I mean by recursively is it will not only list everything in the directory you're in, it will list everything in all of the subdirectories for the one that you're in. And now you can do this using something like ls space tacar space /, which will then list every single file that you have permission to see on your computer. And that can take a while. And we will get into how to parse something like that in just a few minutes. Now,
that slash
whole
tells it
directory-
to start with the root directory and then
Right,
go
that-
down from there. And then you can put a tac A on that too to show all of the hidden files, all the dot files
Right.
and dot directories.
Now, if you want to move between folders, the next thing you need to know is CD. There's a couple of interesting things that you can do with CD, but if you don't do any of those interesting things, then just doing a CD will take you back to your home directory, as will a CD space tilde. That'll just take you home. And now you can also use full paths to traverse anywhere into your PC. So that would be CD space / then the directory name, and then / the next directory name. And tab is the most useful tool on the command line because it will auto finish what you're typing. There are some shells where that doesn't work, but it's very few and far between.
Can I add something to that?
Yes, sir.
You can do a CD. Let's say you're in a directory and you're real deep down in the directory structure, and you want to go up one directory. So you want to come out of the folder that you're in, but you want to go back one folder without having to retype that whole path in. You can do a CD space and then 2 dots. That will take you back one directory level and you can do that as many times that you'll do a ... and then a / and then a ... that takes you up 2 directories. So
Yep.
that's one little quick tool you can use as well.
And also, you can use CD from where you're at instead of using full path. If there are directories inside the directory that you're in, you just start typing or you do a CD and then space and start typing the directory name. Then you hit tab, it auto completes. You do a /, you go down the next one, whatever, and you can keep moving down the path that way. Now, the next thing I want to mention is mkdir. Make directory. So very simple tool. It's just wherever you're at. You can even use full path on this as well if you want to, or if you want to make a directory in the parent directory, you can also use the ... So mkdir space then the name that you're planning on making that directory. You can even make multiple depending on the bash as well, you can make multiple directories by doing the /, or you can do full path and put it there. Now,
It's important to point out, too, when you do a mkdir, you are going to create directories that inherit the permissions of the folder or directory that you're creating the directories in.
Unless you're using sudo.
If you're using sudo, then you're making root folders when you run mkdir.
Right. So, and anything you make as a user will be owned by your user and your default group.
Yeah.
But I think next show I was going to, or next time we do a full innards instead of a news, I was going to go over how permissions work in Linux. Because, yes, I am a nerd.
Oh, boy.
And then touch. Touch makes a file. So, and Linux doesn't care about extensions in the same way that Windows does. It's going to look at that file and say, that's a text file, unless you turn it into something else. But, so touch, and then the file name, and that makes a blank file. And yes, you can put that on a path anywhere, blah, blah, etc. That can be good for some of the commands that come up later when you're piping stuff into it, or you want some place to type something.
It's also useful for if you need to update the attributes of a file. In other words, if you need to change the access time of a file for one reason or another to right here and now, you can touch that file, and the only thing it'll change on it is the access time. And that's for a file that's already been created. But there's times when you're going to have to use it if you're using tools in the command line, because some tools cannot create. If you want to create a text file, some text editors cannot create files out of nothing. So you'll have to touch a file first and then open the text editor to write the stuff in.
I've been doing this so long that that's actually my habit. I won't nano into a new file. I will touch a file and then nano the file.
I've noticed it must be something in the bash RC, because some distributions nano will create a file from nowhere, and then other ones you've got to touch it first. So I've just gotten into the same habit.
Yeah, and then, there's a command that should be touched on, but I don't want to get too far into it because you could turn this into a whole show itself, and that's find.
Find will drive you nuts.
Yeah, there's so much you can do with find, and just to pipe things through find and run other commands with it, like exec. But anyways, yeah, if you get the time, use or check out find. Just go see some commands for find. You're not going to find anything that is absolutely definitive on it, because it's one of those commands that is just massive in what it can do.
It's got a lot of switches that do different things, and it's unknowable unless you use it every day as part of your job or something. I have to Google it every single time I ever use it. It's basically what's on the back end, or something similar to what's on the back end of when you do a file search in your File Explorer, or your what's the word I'm looking for? File, like Nemo or whatnot, But we don't have to know all of the little switches, and so we don't. And there's a lot. I mean, just to go looking for a normal file requires a couple of switches here and there. So I've never really learned it all that well.
Yeah. And then there's the cat, which you should look up flogging the cat sometime. It's really an overused command, and I use it a lot. But if you don't want to open a file with something like nano or Emacs or anything like that, you can just cat it right on the command line, just cat file name, and that will show on the command line everything that's in that file, which is useful if it's a text file, not so much if it's something that isn't.
Yeah,
Because
so
a
that's
lot
what I
of
was going to ask, when would you use it?
Right. Well, I work a lot with like error logs or logs in general. And so I will cat logs from the command line, which is where we also get into the other items that are coming up. But
Okay.
if you need to see something that is in a file, cat is the easiest way to do it. Or if you just want to like if you have a config file and you don't want to open it, or you only have read permissions on it anyway, then you just cat it and take a look.
Yeah, that's because oftentimes, if you don't want to have to elevate to root privileges and then go open a text editor to go in and look at your fstab or something like that, you can just contabulate that, which is what contabulate, yeah, that file and just read it. And if you need to copy and paste something out of a root owned file like your fstab or like your logs is probably the best example, where you might not have write privileges, which means you can't open Nano without elevating permissions, and you might not want to do that because...
So it depends on the system, because sometimes you can still open it with Nano, it just won't allow you to save it.
Right, yeah. But with cat, you just don't have to worry about screwing anything up, because it's just going to standard out your whatever that file says, and you'll be able to read it and copy and paste from it without screwing it up.
Right.
So, but again, it's probably used
it's
more.
Quicker. In a lot of cases, it's quicker than opening the file.
Right.
Especially once you start adding pipes and grabs.
I was going to say it's mostly used in conjunction with other tools to make other things happen.
And I am in just mentioning pipe, because pipe is another one of those things that gets used a lot and in a lot of different ways. So you're taking the output and then you're doing the output of a command line command and then putting that to another command. So that was why I had kind of listed them together the way that I had. So I went from cat to pipe to grep, but somebody changed it.
Who would that somebody be?
I know who it is. I'm just not calling out their name. But anyways, so pipe will take the output that you get and then pipe it into another command. Much like I was saying, grep, which will find specific things from whatever. So if I do a cat file name pipe grep error and I'm doing it to a log, it's going to show me everything that has the word error in it. Or like if I do an IP config, which will output everything about my IP addresses. And if I have a lot of stuff there, I can do a pipe and then a grep and then a 192 to get my local address.
You might have heard people complain on other shows about, for example, if you want to run something like Pi-hole, the most popular way of getting Pi-hole is to do this thing where you're getting, and that's another command line tool. It's real powerful. It basically just downloads from whatever URL you append to the end of wget. And then you can pipe that standard out through bash. So you pipe and then bash, and what that'll do is it'll run whatever script you went and wgot and executes it with root privileges on the terminal that you're running there. And a lot of people don't like doing that because they like to be able to see it first. I think sometimes it's a little overstated, but that's another really useful that's another way to use pipe to make things happen in the real world for normal people, is just so that you can take, like Joe described, you can take the standard out of one command and then pipe it into another function or another command. Because sometimes it's not enough just to get the output of the first command. That's really only getting half the work done. Now you got to send it through. Okay, we've got the script coming through. We can see that the machine is streaming that script through. Okay, what do we want to do with it? Well, we want to execute that script. So you got to pipe that input output into another input. I'm probably making this sound confusing, but that's something you hear a lot of people complain about. But that's one real common use case for a pipe, or just grepping, which we'll talk about grep here in a second. Just grepping for errors and stuff. D-message is one of the biggest tools that we use to look for errors in a Debian-based system, where we'll D-message, and then we pipe that through grep, and grep will just go and find whatever keyword we're looking for, whether it's error or warning or whatnot, and then it'll list all
What kind of errors will it find? What kind of errors?
Anything with the word error in it.
Okay.
If you grep error, or if you grep what's another one? Warning, or you can
if you know the name of the system that's running, if you know the name of that, you can grep for that and see what it did at any given time.
So you could run system control grep, pipe grep, and then like VGA or whatnot, and it'll show you the system unit, whether it's running or not running. If he was trying to track down init system errors or something like that. I guess
an important one that I didn't include here would be something like PS, which will show you everything that's, if you use a PS space TAC capital A, it'll show you everything that's running, and then you could pipe that into a grep to find something specific to see if it's running or not.
Yeah.
And that would give you the PID, which you could then kill, which is another command that I didn't put here. And then kill TAC9 and all that jazz.
Pipe, but you can pipe top through grep to find a certain process as well, and then p-kill that process once you have the exact name of it. That's another way of doing that.
Or the PID. Or the kill all for the name and kill for the PID.
Right.
PID is process ID.
Go ahead, Charles.
Can I interject something real quick? Ask a question. It's about language and words. Joe, you just said, and you said in the beginning, like a command line something, and then you say tact. And I know Noah Chalai on the Ask Noah show uses the word tack. And I'm dawned on me, there's some people might be listening to this and not know what you mean when you say tact. Could
just
you
a dash?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes. So I don't know if it's a generational thing, but back in the day when I started Unix and Linux, I never heard the term tack. I've heard dash for.
I've never heard tack till before today. We've always called it dash in the U, but that's because we speak English properly.
A dash or a hyphen, right? Well, I never heard tack either.
Oh yeah,
right. So that's what I'm saying. Maybe it's a generational thing or something or whatever. But anyway, just an observation.
Heard it as tack.
Yeah, among
when
people
talking about the command line.
No, I understand we're talking about the command line, but I always heard it as dash growing up in Unix and Linux.
Wait. Because you don't want to confuse it with bash and bing bash and bang.
But what I'm trying to say specifically that there are some people are not going to know what tact means.
your point is right.
It's not tact.
Tact.
We don't have tact on this
T-A-C-K.
show. We have tact.
We have no tact.
I'm not sure what character you guys are even referring to.
It's a dash.
At this point.
Yeah.
It's a hyphen, guys.
Okay.
Yeah. The dash.
Or a dash.
Be hyphen C.
Gesundheit.
Anyway,
Okay, tact to tact.
That's it. Nobody here is professional. Yeah, you.
We could probably do a whole show on all of the vernacular and all of the different ways.
No. We don't have to get into that. It's just that when I hear certain words, language, it means something or it doesn't mean something to me. So anyway, we can move on.
Yeah,
So
and I've even heard it.
I have-
I've even heard it described as your command is cat, or your command is ls, and then the switch is a, and then you're supposed to know that means to put a -a to list out all of the.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we've
Good
got
point,
ways
Charles.
of
Good point.
we've got ways of gatekeeping in this world, don't we? But just by the way we talk, that we want.
Oh, this is your art user thing coming out again,
It
isn't
is.
it? You know,
Okay.
read the effing manual bit, isn't it? You don't even know what that is, man. Get
Okay,
off
we
here.
we can move on now.
Well, I
So-
was quite willing to explain.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Stop
Thank
me
you.
and ask questions when you need to. I do not mind. But I'm moving on to some practical examples here of things. So like for grep, which basically finds things in an output. So like earlier we talked about ls tac capital R. So if you do an ls tac capital R / and then pipe that into grep
Dash, you mean?
We're not gonna.
tac.
Now you know that tac
Can't
means
help but smile
dash.
either.
I'm sorry, I just couldn't resist. I do apologize.
Did you see the look on my face? That's okay.
Yeah, I did actually. You know, it was like the look from hell.
Oh, if only I could stab you from this far away. Oh, wait. Different show. Anyways, so you do an
I mean,
LS.
it's got missiles for that sort of stuff.
Yes, and I actually have experience with those, but let's move on. LS space tac capital R space / space pipe grep, and you do not need a space between pipe and grep. But and then file name. So you can search for a specific file if you know the file name that's in your entire system. And it will only output the path of where that file is. So, and now you can search for a file name or search for whatever in an output without using quotes, unless there is a symbol or a space. And then you want to use quotes. So sometimes, especially if you're a newbie, it's good to get into the habit of always using quotes. But there are other ways, but that's a whole nother conversation involving backslash.
If you're gonna
Now, are you
search for more than one thing, you're gonna want to use quotes because it will stop reading after the first thing. So
And then think that after the space is a separate command
Correct.
and try and do something else. But yeah. But there's also backslash for specific things that will take a character and, see it as the char as opposed to, a word. But another practical one is history. History will tell you every single command that you've done on the terminal. So a lot of times you'll go out to, Google or something and find a command and then put that into your terminal and run it. And then a few days later, you're not going to remember it and you can use history to find it again. So history, pipe, grep, and then the command name. Now, this is useful in more ways than a lot of people expect because a lot of people will just do that history space grep and then the command name or the command that they're looking for, something like apt, and then they'll copy it and paste it once they see it. But when you do a history, it actually gives you a number. And that number can be used to redo that command. So all you have to do is exclamation point, bang, and then the number. And that can be useful when you're doing something like sudo, which is super user do. which elevates your permissions. So it's not your user permissions, it's actually whatever permissions have been granted to sudo. In most systems, that's root permissions.
Can I ask a quick question? What
Yes,
is
sir.
the
Yes, sir.
difference then? What is the difference then between the root and the super user?
Super user, you are just emulating the root, or you are gaining temporarily the permissions of the root user.
You are temporarily gaining the permissions that have been applied to super user, which in 99% of systems out there are root. You can limit what sudo can and can't do.
You got to go out of your way to do that, though.
You have to go out of your way to do
yeah.
that, though. But yes, I do want to make that distinction, though, because it is entirely possible for the root user to say that sudo cannot do apt install. So you can't install crap on your system.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Pro tip.
But
I was just going to go back on that history thing. If you have this is going to sound weird to bring up now, but I was thinking about it, so here goes. If you have a reason why you do not want your machine to save your bash history, and I'll give you one big example, is if you do a lot of encrypting of files through the command line. Let's say you are somebody working forwarding journalism out of a less than friendly geographic location, and you are applying a GPG command,
Like states, for example.
Yeah, well, it's getting that way, isn't it? You use a lot of GPG commands to encrypt files before you send them out. Change the own the bash history file in your home directory, which is it's a dot file. It's hidden by default. Chown that to root, and then it will not keep track. It will cease to have the permissions to keep track of your bash history. That's one quick and easy way to keep yourself from getting any sort of trail on that machine to commands that you've executed.
So now any person that has spent any time on the command line will tell you that sudo bang bang is one of the things that you're going to end up using a lot.
Yeah.
Because you're going to try a command and then you're going to realize that you don't have permissions for that command. And all sudo bang bang does is, well, bang bang will do the last command. That
Exclamation point, by the way.
Yes.
Before somebody else interjects.
And bang bang will do the last command that you did. And bang bang's so much easier to say than exclamation point that I'm just going to keep using bang bang.
I want to sit here and listen to him say bang bang all day.
Bang bang. And so with bang bang,
I can't make that joke. Otherwise, I'll end up with a complimentary orange jumpsuit and a trip to Cuba.
Yeah. Well, if you were here, you'd probably get that anyway.
Yep.
But now with bang bang doing the last command, you can add things either to the front or the back of this command. So sudo bang bang will super user do last command. But like I was saying with that grep or history grep apt or history grep whatever, there will be a number next to the command. So you could do a sudo bang and then the number, and that would give super user do that last command. Now, if there's already a sudo there in that command, then you don't need to do that. You just do a bang and then the number.
So in other words, with the bang bang, if let's say you execute a long command and you forget to put sudo at the beginning of it, and it'll tell you do not have permission to execute this command. Instead of having to either copy and paste that command or typing the whole thing out all over again.
No, hit up and then go to the beginning of the command.
You could do that, or just sudo
which is
bang
the
bang.
second easiest way.
Sudo bang bang.
Sudo bang bang is so much easier.
It.
Yeah.
And
because hit up and then you have to go left all the way through this giant command till you get to the start of it. it's just easier to sudo bang.
It was no less than 10 years before I learned that, by the way. That was... and
a lot of people still don't realize that you can do that bang and then the command number.
Yeah, that is useful too.
So, yeah, it really is, especially if you're doing anything with like FFmpeg or anything like that you have to redo on a regular basis, and the command is just nasty huge. Either that or, actually write a bash script. But we can get into that on another day. And now something that I had mentioned was apt. Apt is a fun one. There are several things that you can do with apt now, other than sudo apt install and then the D package or the package name, and that will automatically install it. Once again, tab is your friend if you're getting something out of the repo from the command line. Especially, it doesn't work if you haven't done a sudo recently, but if you have done a sudo recently, you can start typing the name of the application that you're trying to install and then hit tab, and it will autocomplete.
Apt
or
is the
if
package
it can't
manager.
Autocomplete, yeah.
For
Or if it
Mint.
can't, if there's multiple of them that have a very similar name, it will list all of the ones that it could possibly be, and then you type another letter and then hit tab again. Yes, you can hit Control A to go to the beginning of that, but sudo bang bang I still think is easier. That was based on a comment from Londoner. I didn't catch the whole thing though.
He also said, don't forget to mention man peg. If you type man then whatever, like man space apt, that'll give you the manual pages. I'm not a huge fan. Usually what I'm looking for is what are the switches for a command, and if you just hit, like in this case, apt space tac 2 tacs, because you're going to write out the name of the entire switch, tac help, and that'll give you the list of, not always all of them, in fact, never really all of them, but most of the commonly used switches, and then a small explanation of what they do. But if you want the more exhaustive version of the explanation of all these tools, then you can type man or some, what is it, the BSD based tools use the what's the other one that's not man?
Or you can do what Majid would suggest and head out to the Arch repos, because it's going to have all the information.
Yeah, just use there you go.
What? Yeah, are you talking about the AUR or
the Arch Wiki? I think is what he meant.
Okay,
yeah, the Arch Wiki.
Yeah.
But anyways, so you can do, other than an install, you can also do a sudo apt update, which will read through your system and compare it to the software that's available, and will tell you what updates there are available. And then sudo apt upgrade will actually run the upgrade, but you will have to tell it yes for installs. It does ask for each individual one, unless you use attack Y.
There you go.
Which will put, for any time it asks a question, it's going to put Y in there. And then there's auto remove, which will automatically remove the portions that you don't need anymore that were left on the system. And now we get into some interesting things that I didn't necessarily put in the notes, but I did segue into specifically for this, and that's the and. And using the and, you can do put it all on one line. So you could do a sudo apt update and sudo apt upgrade tac Y and sudo apt auto remove tac Y. But and is not the only one that you can use. There's also or, which would be pipe would be the or. It's just, in this instance, it's an or, and it's the exact same symbol, but yeah. So an and, once the one command finishes, if it finishes successfully, it automatically goes to the next one. And then the next one, as long as there's another and. Now with the or, that's for when a command fails. So if a command, you use the or, you do a command, you have an or, and then you have another command. That's specifically for when command 1 fails, it will go to the next command and
Which
run that.
wouldn't be appropriate in the example of sudo apt update and sudo
Right.
apt upgrade.
That would be a different set of commands. It's just something that I find interesting.
Because it like Joe said, the and because you could do sudo apt, you could do commands with just one and what that'll do is it just runs them all, and you don't really want to do that. You want it to wait until the first command executes and then exits successfully, cleanly, and then it moves on. But if there's a problem, you want it to stop.
What the and is good for is if you're going to be running a really long command, but you still want access to the terminal at the same time. So
it backgrounds it basically.
Yeah, it shoves it to the background, and you're able to continue on using the command line. And now Moss has wanted us to mention that there's also dist upgrade and full upgrade, but do you want to explain those real quick?
Those are not apt commands. Those are apt get command. Well, dist upgrade is an apt get command. Full upgrade is an apt command. Flatpak is also not an apt command.
What exactly is the difference?
Nothing.
Again, the noob. Okay.
Dist upgrade is just what was used with the apt get.
Talk.
You're
You're muted, Moss.
Moss, we can't hear you. You're muted in Discord.
Okay. Well, dist upgrade will actually look at your distributions repos only, whereas full upgrade will look at all repos that you've got enabled.
Dist upgrade, from what it's not an apt command as such. It's if you use dist upgrade.
It is in Bodhi and it is in Mint.
It's been, from what I understand, it's been like symlinked, or it's been aliased to full upgrade, which is the one that actually more carefully goes through and removes things, replaces everything. Yeah.
apt-get has been aliased.
Yeah, it has.
So apt does everything now.
That's the apt is just the more.
Apt has also been improved recently, and it also does everything now.
Yeah, apt is your more human usable version of apt-get. Apt-get still works. It's still a usable tool, but apt is just the one that everyone has kind of gone to.
There are two issues here. One is that Mint has their own alias of apt, and the other is that apt has had an upgrade recently.
Yeah. Flatpak is not an apt command, though. That's something that has to be executed by itself.
No, it isn't. I do it all the time.
Well,
you
he's saying
append
it's
the
not an
Flatpak,
apt, but you don't need the pseudo.
Yeah, I don't do apt.
But with
you can still include Flatpak update in.
Oh, I see what you did there. You did an
command.
and. Okay, so you added to the script is basically
That's
what you did here. Okay.
Yeah. And then
Now, in Mint, you don't have to do anything to remove old Flatpak stuff because it does that automatically. But in other distros, you'll have to do a Flatpak remove, tac unused.
Right. And that's because of a switch they've got in their update manager where you tell it to get rid of old packages that are not being used anymore, which is basically, it's kind of like an auto remove, I think. Automated, sort of. Mm-hmm. If I had to, I guess, yeah. Go on, Jim.
Yeah, on at least one of my distros, I've just used that whole command that's sitting up there in the show notes and just aliased it to upgrade.
yes.
I think I've got the exact same thing, and I've got it aliased to full up.
Up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have mine aliased out in my garage computer to up.
Yeah. I mean, that's...
We might want to explain the alias command now that we're talking about that.
Well, I do it from the alias file, but yeah.
It might be good to get into that with if we ever do scripting the aliases, because you're getting into writing bash
Yeah,
RC
yeah,
and all that stuff.
The automation of command line is a very long, fun topic.
Yeah.
Well, but
But,
alias is an easy one. You just open up a particular file with nano and type it all in.
Yeah, just follow the pattern of the other aliases that are already there, and you will be fine. I don't remember exactly where it is, though. It's in your home directory, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just bash RC, or you can
It is
source,
your bash RC.
put in source bash aliases, and then you can have it in a separate file, which I think is already a thing. I'm not sure, but if you're using Mint or something like that.
No. Sometimes you'll want to, since we were talking about apt and install. Sometimes you'll want to install something that's not necessarily in the repos, and installing a deb is basically the same thing. You'll get your deb, you'll have it available in a file location. You'll go to that file location, and then you'll use a D package, dpkg, and then space tac I. Hyphen I.
Dash I.
Dash I.
I use TAC because I don't want to confuse. We're talking
Exactly.
about
Dash
making
your eyes anyhow.
bash commands. We're not talking about writing something, But
Right.
I do appreciate that when you're talking to people that might not be used to the talking about bash and all that.
I usually hear the guys like the guys on Linux. Come on, Martin and them guys use the word tick a lot instead of tac.
Yeah, I have heard that actually.
Linux Matters.
Linux matters, yeah.
Yeah.
I have heard tick as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've just always
It's
used
all
tac.
ticky tacky people.
Yeah. But so like a
That's the name of the
DPKG
episode, Ticky Tacky People.
Let me write
so
that
like
down.
a D package, a dpkg, and then a tac I, and then the file name of the deb, and that will install it. Now, this most will commonly, if you're not able to install it using the GUI because there's some kind of error, then you break it down to the command line and you install it there specifically so that you can see the error. Now, sometimes, like I said, when you're doing things from the command line, it's going to end up being super long, and you're not going to be able to parse all of that visually easily. So something that you can do is redirect the output. And there's two solid ways of redirecting that output. And that's the greater than symbol and the greater than symbol. So the greater than symbol will overwrite a file. So if you want everything that just came out to be into a file, that's perfectly fine with just the greater than symbol. It will take whatever's in that file, get rid of it, and put the new stuff there that you just generated. And then you can use the other commands that we were talking about, the cat and the grep, to find specific things. Or if you know what you're looking for when you're outputting, you can output and then grep and then just have that redirected to the file and then go through that, or just do it at the command line too. But the greater than will add to the end of a file.
I thought it
So
added
if you're
to the
not
top.
No, it should add to the end.
Okay.
Yeah, it should start right at the very last character and then
That's
continue
what
on from there.
appends mean, people.
Yeah. So
No, I know what he wrote there, Moss. I'm just saying I thought that the greater than was a prepend command.
no, I'm pretty sure that's an append. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm
gonna-
pretty sure that's an append.
I've not used it in so long. I'm going to try it here
Yeah.
just to see.
But yeah, that will output things from the command line, and instead of it going to the command line, it's going to go to the file instead. And the command line, you don't want to have to be scrolling back all the way through all these other commands to see an output. You can just have it there in that file and go through it and see what happened. And I don't even want to get into all of the crazy things you can do with a file using something like Vim or Emacs, because that's multiple innard sessions on learning Vim or Emacs or anything like that. And you'd rather have an expert, and I'm not that. But yeah, is there?
Nano.
Yeah, I'm a Nano fan. So, is there anything else that you guys think is important for a noob on the command line?
I'm just going to add one thing and say that there's a free book online called The Linux Command Line. It's a PDF, and I have been learning from it little by little. It's not an easy read, but it's definitely something useful.
There's also an app in Android anyway. I don't know if it's on iOS, called the Linux Command Line Directory. Let me just check what it's actually called. Hold on 1 second.
And
Man looks up stuff on phone.
If you go on Amazon, I'm sure you can order a magnetic thing that is a Linux command line cheat sheet.
Yeah, Linux Command Line.
I think we covered man, didn't we?
We had mentioned man.
Oh.
Man, like when I put this together, I put it together using things that I use on a regular basis. Man, I sometimes use, but I haven't found it always useful because it doesn't usually give the structure or an example of commands. But you can man any command, and it should have a man page. There are times when some don't, but most times, if you know a command and you want to know what it does, you type man, which is short for manual, and it will tell you about that command, usually with a small synopsis and then with all the different tags that you can put on it, all the addendums that you can add to it.
Yeah, there's also an alternative to man pages, but it has to be installed. It's called TLDR, read man pages in simple format. There's a prerequisite node, NPM has to be installed, but it's a little bit more concise and easier to read alternative to man pages, just as a follow-up.
Cool.
The quality of man pages depends greatly on the maintainer's ability to write good documentation, because that's often where those pages come from.
And if you're a fan of man pages and podcasts, then go find Klaatu. He went through every single man page in which operating system was it? Ubuntu?
That's a good one on me.
Not sure.
But he did that on Hacker Public Radio. Anything else that you guys use on a regular basis on the command line that I did not mention?
You said about apt and apt-get. There are other ones around, isn't there? DNF and Yay and Zipper and Pacman. Those depend on your different distro, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, there's Yum. It is definitely your distro and what you have installed. There are lots of different ways to skin a cat.
apt.
Yeah, Debian is
that the
apt.
same? I was going to say, is that the same for the D package? I assume that's only in Debian as well, or Debian based?
Yes.
Anything that can install a deb can you
Another
do
apt
using
plugin
DPEG.
or replacement is the PK exec, and that's used in some distros.
Okay.
Yeah, KDE Neon uses PK exec, but you still have apt as well.
I never use PK exec, and I got Neon on most of my machines, so apt works.
They want you to use
something new.
Yeah.
Anything else from anybody else? I think that's quite a good
That was a good
introduction. Yeah, I mean, these things are only ever going to be introductions. And one thing as a noob, I would say, is you don't need to be afraid of the command line. The command line, if you know a little bit, is okay. At the same time, you do need to be careful. I have balked many a system by putting the wrong packet things in. But at the same time, I have saved many a system by knowing the correct commands to put in and use.
sooner or later, everybody makes the same mistake, and that's with RM, RF. Anybody?
RF slash.
Yeah, RM is
Done.
the remove command. And now there are protections that are put into modern systems to cover most screw ups. But I promise you that sooner or later, anybody that has spent a lot of time on the command line will tell you that they have made the mistake of doing an RM space tac RF in the wrong location or at slash with a wild card, and the wild card is what the shift 8, the what's that thing called? Now y'all are quiet. Y'all want to talk about what's a
No, I
tac?
can't remember.
I had to look at the
Asterisk.
keyboard.
The asterisk, which is a wild card, which means everything. So RM space tac RF and space slash asterisk, and yeah, you will destroy everything in your system, especially if you use something like sudo in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
And there are still portions of the operating system that are protected against that, but it will get rid of everything that you own at the very least.
And that is the thing about the terminal. Using the terminal will bypass, because most of the time if a distribution puts safeguards in place to keep people from shooting themselves in the foot, using the terminal will bypass. It goes straight to the lower level commands and bypasses any kind of safeguards that are in place. It's
like deleting system32.dll.
Yeah. That was Windows talk.
Yeah,
yes, I know. Yeah. Anything .dll always makes me shudder.
Or .exe.
No, the exe was irresponsible. .dll meant you'd mess something up and you had no idea how to fix it, generally.
All the scariest error messages always had DLLs in them.
Yeah, they did.
What say we put a bow on this pig and get out of here?
Let's do it.
I think that's not a bad idea. So thank you very much, lads, for educating me. Okay, so we go on. Did we have any feedback? I don't think we did we?
No, I took it out.
Okay, cool. All right then. In which case then, it's time for housekeeping and announcements. Thank you for listening to this episode of mintCast. If you see something you think we should be talking about, tell us. You can email us at mintcast@mintcast.org, which people do. You can join us live on YouTube. You can post to our subreddit. You can chat with us on Discord and Telegram. Actually, Discord is where we are doing most of the conversations. So yes, please come there. Our next episode will be at 2 p.m. US Central Time on Sunday, August the 3rd, 2025. And there's a link to get that convert. I said August. Did I say August the 3rd? August the 3rd.
You changed it to August, but you said April 1st.
Okay, fine. Sunday, August the 3rd at 2025. And you can get a link to get that converted to your time zone in the show notes. That will be probably our news episode. So we'll be talking about all the newsy stuff. Our next roundtable live stream, where we'll be going through our wanderings, and we want to get as many of you guys on as well to discuss with us and tell us how wrong we are, is on Saturday, July 26, 2025 at US Central Time, 2 p.m. And again, there's a link to get that converted to your time zone in the show notes. And all the live stream information is at mintcast.org/livestream. So, wrapping up, Joe.
Well, I am on a couple of other shows. I'm on the Linux Link Tech Show, which is at tllts.org. I'm on the Linux Lugcast, which is linuxlugcast.com. You can send me an email directly, jb@mintcast.org, or you can buy me a coffee on Ko-fi, link in the show notes. Moss?
Well, you can hear me every week on Full Circle Weekly News. I'm the weirdo on this team. My email is moss@bodielinux.com. My Mastodon is at Zyvala@hosttux.social, and you can occasionally hear me on HPR. I think I've got a new one coming up pretty soon. Bill?
Well, you can email me. I'm bill@mintcast.org. I'm Bill_H on Discord. I'm at WCHauser3 at Fossadon.org on Mastodon. Also, I'm on 2 other shows, Linux OTC with Eric and Majid, and 3 Fat Truckers. Links to both of those in the show notes. Majid?
So you can email me at drmajid@mintcast.org. You can get me on at atypical_doctor@mastodon.social. I'm the Atypical Doctor on Instagram and Threads. I have the Atypical Doctor podcast, and also I do Linux OTC with William and Eric. Eric couldn't be with us today. He can be reached by email at eric@mintcast.org. Charles?
I can be reached at charles@mintcast.org or Mr. PDX on Discord.
And last but not least, our newest member, Jim.
I go by GNU to Linux on the mintCast Discord, and I do a show on an occasional podcast of my own, a video podcast on the Linux Shortcut on YouTube. And my Mastodon is the Linux Shortcut at Fostodon.
Excellent. So, before we leave, we want to make sure to acknowledge some of the people who make mintCast possible. Bill for all our audio editing and hosting the server, which runs our show, website, maintenance, and the Nextcloud server, and which has all the show notes and all the raw audio. Archive.org for hosting our audio files. Hopstar for our logo, InetRD for the animated Discord logo. Londoner for all our time syncs and various other contributions. He is the hidden hand behind mintCast. And of course, the Linux Mint development team for the fine distro we love to talk about. Thanks,
Clam.
and Co.
And
That's a wrap.
So, Bill, was I right about append?
I wasn't doing it. I didn't get it done.
Jim,
I was going to try, and then I got sidetracked on something else that popped up. So
Jim, your Mastodon is at Linux Shortcut at Mastodon.social or something else?
Fostodon.org, I believe it is, right? Yes.
Let's see.
we'll get that all written in the template. That way it'll be just up every time.
Mastodon.
I believe that's what it is.
Yeah, it's Fostodon. That's where mine's at.
Yeah.
Did you say yours is called the Linux Shortcut? Did you say on YouTube?
That's right, the Linux Shortcut. I've done 4 videos so far. It's a different kind of show because when you're doing a solo show, I feel like showing what I'm doing and explaining it, showing it on the screen capturing what I'm doing. It feels like more homework to, set that up and show whatever I'm trying to explain.
What about your email, Jim?
You're creating keyboard shortcuts. Are you doing any kind of aliasing or automation?
Yeah, one of my videos, of the 4 videos I made, was specifically about how to have a keyboard-centric workflow and in Firefox. And
Who's
for
using
the
their
most part,
speakers?
That would be me, but I don't think I was doing it the whole time though, so I don't think that sound was me.
It like certain strange times. It seems like it was there's an echo coming in.
Jim, what's your email?
Linux Shortcut at
Yeah,
gmail.com.
All one word?
Yes, the Linux Shortcut. No
The
spaces,
Linux Shortcut.
at
The
gmail.com.
Linux Shortcut.
Yeah, THE Linux Shortcut.
Got it.
I will get you set up.
I'm definitely going to be watching your video on how to follow X users and hashtags without an account, because I got rid of my account because I don't want to give any money to Elon, but there does seem to be quite a lot on this. I'm going to have to watch that one. Thanks. So this tonight's TV watching for me.
Oh, good.
Okay,
Hope you
guys,
enjoy
thanks
it.
for
Yeah.
putting up with me. I'm going to run off.
All right.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank
for
you
coming,
the,
Moss.
invite.
Take care.
Yeah.
I will be
gents.
there Monday, Moss.
I will,
thank
Jim. I will get you set up with a email address for the show. I'm going to wait a couple
I
episodes.
missed that, Joe?
Package will be there Monday.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No worries.
I will get you set up with an email. I'll wait a couple episodes just to make sure that this is something you want to do before I go through and shake the Google tree.
Run as fast as you can. Sorry.
Well, it's not. I mean, it's true. It's not for everybody.